If you would like to advertise with Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, make sure to send an email to joshlopezwwe94@gmail.com using the subject line advertising. I am the student of the game of professional wrestling, Joshua Lopez, and play-by-play writer for WrestleZone.com. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, for episode 39 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, our Royal Rumble special. Sit back and enjoy the show, everybody.
I've been in several Royal Rumbles now, and I've been in there by myself, and I've been in there with my team, and I know in my heart of hearts that after next week we will be completely clear because, as you know, I went to war with this man. The Undertaker himself came and warned us all if we didn't win Survivor Series, he was going to come back and he was going to just tear the walls down and do everything. But we did. And people like, I see Baron Corbin in here telling everyone that he's going to win it, but he doesn't know what it takes. He has never been there. He's never done anything. I've been there. I've seen everything there is to see. And there is no better team, no better chance, with no better chance going into the Royal Rumble than the Wyatts if we are completely together.
Well, that being said, and also as you're well aware, it depends on luck of the draw. So you can have the greatest team, but if you guys are all spread out and then one is eliminated early, it happens. And the second one is eliminated, then there's the third is left all alone.
It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. It's not about numbers. We are going to win the Royal Rumble. And when I say we, I mean me. I am going to win the Royal Rumble. Not Baron Corbin, not Braun Strowman, not John Cena or whoever else is involved. I am going to win the Royal Rumble.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 39 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed that little intro right there. I wanted you to guess which movie I took that song from during that Bray Wyatt promo. What's going on, everybody? It's Royal Rumble week. I'm the student of the game of professional wrestling, Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at NotoriousJoshi. Check out my play-by-play pieces at WrestleZone.com. I'll be having the honor of covering this year's Royal Rumble on the site on Sunday. Looking forward to it. 6 hours of nonstop writing should be very interesting. I'm pretty sure my fingers will be bleeding towards the end of the show. Nonetheless, welcome back to the show, everybody. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Thank you guys for the support and giving this show a shot because there's a lot of different wrestling podcasts out there. And my goal here is to try to be different than everybody else and actually backed it up because you hear that a lot. Oh, my show's different. We're not like every other show. We hear that all the time, but there's a lot of parody in these wrestling podcasts out there. Just being honest. Anyways, Royal Rumble week. Royal Rumble week, man. It's here. One of the biggest weeks in all of professional wrestling in the calendar year. Royal Rumble has always been one of my favorite pay-per-views, and I can't tell you how excited I am to cover this show on Sunday. Forget the Pro Bowl, forget the NHL All-Star Game. Thank God the NFL playoffs is coming to an end soon, and finally got something to look forward to because we're getting on the road to WrestleMania 33, which I will be at. I am going to Orlando, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope I get to see some of you guys down there, and ladies too. I'm going to be down there from Thursday, March 30th to Tuesday, April the 4th. So I'm going to be down there in Orlando, hanging out with my good brother, Matt McCool, who I'm on the co-host of his wrestling podcast, The Pipe Bomb with McCool & Company, which you can check out on the New Age Insiders Network. Speaking of plugs, make sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Leave a rating and a review. That's all I ask. I don't ask you guys for a lot. I'll never charge you guys for money to listen to this show or anything like that. I'm not going to set up a Patreon account anytime soon. I'm not that type of guy. But all I ask is to get your guys' honest opinions on this podcast, and I want to get your guys' feedback because it means a lot to me, and it'll shape the direction of the show because I want the show to be catered to you guys and what you guys want to listen to. You guys know me. For those that are loyal subscribers to the podcast, thank you guys for the support. It means the world to me. Those know that I'm not afraid to go on a rant once in a while. However, this week I'm not really mad at it, actually. I'm actually in a good mood. I really have nothing to rant or rave about. And a lot of times I shouldn't worry about giving Nimrod's airtime when it comes to this podcast. I should save that for the pipe bomb. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, Royal Rumble week. I'll give you my predictions for the pay-per-view towards the end of the show. I'll also talk about Monday Night Raw this past week. I'll talk a little preview for SmackDown tonight, and also talk about last week's Impact Wrestling because I'm back on the tits and ass grind. Because, hey man, the TNA is going to change. I don't even know if I can even call it TNA anymore in my articles. Do I have to call it the Anthem Impact Wrestling Championship? I don't know. I got to talk about that today. And we're going to talk about NXT Takeover San Antonio that's going to happen this Saturday on the WWE Network. I'm going to explain why I'm not always on the NXT bandwagon, but I am looking forward to the show this Saturday. And there's just, as always, whenever there's a wrestling podcast, there's always something to talk about. So I always find it funny where people are like, oh, the business is in a lull. There's nothing to talk about. Oh, the business is at an all-time low. Are you kidding me? There's always something to talk about when it comes to wrestling. You'd be lying to yourself if there's nothing to talk about in regards to wrestling on a wrestling podcast. I think maybe sometime down the road later this year, I will start doing interviews again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very interesting transition period for me in regards to my broadcasting career, at least when it comes to this podcast, because for those that have been a loyal supporter of me for the past 4 years and know my work for the Pro Wrestling Experience, it's been a different process from transitioning out of a regular radio format to doing just regular podcasting like this. And I take great pride in trying to outdo myself each week. That's the goal for this podcast, at least for myself, to outdo the previous show. And I want to give you the best content that you can hear ever. And that's why I decided to up the game with more production and adding more clips and stuff. And I'm having a blast in this podcast, and it's a weekly challenge for me to top myself every week. And hey, that's what you gotta do, man. Continue to up your work ethic. Don't feel like you reach a certain point and that's just the basis of where to go with everything you do, because there's no ceiling that you can reach. The reason why I play Sky's the Limit by Notorious B.I.G. as my intro song every week, because it's true. That's how I feel. That's how I live my life. The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit when it comes to this podcast. The sky's the limit is in regard to my play-by-play articles. Hell, a lot of times when I do these play-by-play pieces, they get the same amount of hits as people that are doing play-by-play articles on CBS.com or ESPN or Forbes. And that means a lot to me because, on the surface, some of your family members would be like, oh, all you do is just sit down and type. You're really not working. You're not really putting your heart into anything. You're not applying yourself, which is bullshit because there's really more than meets the eye with what I do for a living. For those that really know professional broadcasters and what they do for a living, it's not easy. And all you do is sit down and talk. All you do is sit down and type. It's not true. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. And it's a big mental thing when it comes to this broadcasting field. And I feel like as the weeks go on, whether it's the pipe out or this show, I feel like I'm bettering myself, and it's actually helped me become a better person and actually regain some self-confidence that I didn't have in the past. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A little get to know me behind the scenes story here as we start out the podcast. I'll say this. Royal Rumble week, besides WrestleMania week, is my favorite wrestling week of the year. So I can't tell you how excited I am to cover this show on Sunday. I'll be covering the show at my uncle's house. Not actually my uncle, but basically my godmother's boyfriend, Jeremy's house. I'll be doing the show from there. And I'm going to be typing for 6 hours. My fingers are probably going to be bleeding and stuff towards the end of the show because it's being long. But you know what? Screw it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, really, breaking down the fourth wall, I spent 9 hours on my WrestleMania 32 article last year. Think about that. 9 hours. The 2-hour pre-show, the 5-hour WrestleMania show in itself, the 1 hour actually setting up the article, and then an hour editing the article. So I love when people tell me that I don't apply myself to things. I really think that's really, really funny. Anyways, we're going to start off this week talking about NXT Takeover San Antonio. I'm going to change the format here a little bit. We will get into SmackDown, we will get into TNA, and we'll get into Raw. But I want to try something different. This week, I'm going to start off with NXT Takeover San Antonio. We're going to take a look at the card. I'll give you my thoughts on NXT Takeover, the brand, and how it's presented quarterly. And I'll tell you why sometimes I feel hit and miss when it comes to NXT. So I got a special clip here. The Shinsuke Nakamura Bobby Roode contract signing occurred on last week's NXT, which you can check out on the WWE Network every Wednesdays. I'm going to play that clip for you right now. Enjoy.
You call yourself the king of strong style, right? The king of strong style. The fact is, Shinsuke, you have no style. I mean, you walk around with a half a haircut, you forgot to shave the other side, you look like you're in the Thriller movie from Michael Jackson. You dance around and you do this. Whatever that is, I mean, it's dumb. I mean, who are you?
You won't change NXT as long as I'm champion.
My agenda will be complete because I will silence all of your fans all over the world, and I am going to take that NXT championship and put it around my waist where it belongs. Sign that thing. Sign that thing. And you see, Shinsuke, when I win that NXT championship, it will finally be
Bobby, you look great. You are one of the best in the world. But at Takeover, you not taking my NXT title.
Yep, there you go. There's a clip right there. Bobby Roode making fun of Shinsuke Nakamura's outfit and his appeal. Shinsuke Nakamura will be taking on Bobby Roode. That'll be the main event for NXT TakeOver San Antonio, which you can check out this Saturday on the WWE Network. It's going to be coming from the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio. Freeman Coliseum is actually an old classic wrestling arena. It's actually held a lot of shows in the past, especially Raws and other pay-per-views. I know WCW did a couple of shows there as well. Freeman Coliseum, it should be an interesting environment to check that out. And, of course, you can't forget, on Sunday, the Royal Rumble is going to be at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. By the way, I apologize in advance. This is your first time listening. I apologize in advance for any chirping in the background. That's out of my control. Hopefully you're not too distracted by it, but just wanted to point that out really quick. Anyways, just really quick, the card for NXT TakeOver San Antonio goes like this. We have Roderick Strong making his NXT TakeOver debut against Andrade Cien Almas. We also have Eric Young versus Ty Dillinger. For the women's title, we have a fatal four-way match between Asuka, Nikki Cross, Billie Kay, and Peyton Royce. The NXT Tag Team titles will be on the line as DIY defend their titles against the Authors of Pain. And, of course, like I just mentioned, and you heard that clip right there, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship. Now, on the surface, if you're looking at this, you can say, oh, okay, this should be interesting. Hey, I like DIY, right? I like Roderick Strong, right? I like Nakamura, right? I like Bobby Roode, right? But is there anything besides Nakamura and Bobby Roode that's must-see for this NXT TakeOver special? I hear the trend every quarter that NXT TakeOvers are better than just about every single WWE pay-per-view, especially Big Four pay-per-views. For those that are listening to the podcast going into SummerSlam last year, I was talking about this a lot. I think it's really dumb and outright ignorant to slap the main roster talent in the face by saying that an NXT TakeOver show and an NXT brand that has so many different aspects to it is better than what goes into a main roster Big Four special. Not only does NXT shows are built off of 1 hour shows. Hell, it's not even an hour show. It's like 50 minutes. How long are their commercial breaks during their weekly shows? Yeah, 30 seconds compared to 5-minute commercial breaks on USA Network. Also, most of these shows are taped in advance. And yes, I'll give them, they do good stuff when it comes to long-term planning. Because what else are you going to do? They're not going to do they're not going to do monthly NXT specials, nor do they need to do monthly NXT specials. My point is, stop slapping the main roster in the face all the time with the, NXT TakeOver is better every time. NXT TakeOver this, NXT TakeOver that. Enough already, bro. Yeah, some of them have been great. Not everyone's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, seriously, man. I enjoyed Toronto. It was a good show. Obviously, the DIY Revival 2 out of 3 Falls match was absolutely off the chain. I was kind of hit and miss with the Nakamura Samoa Joe feud. I'm just being honest. It really didn't do much for me. Neither did the Samoa Joe Finn Balor feud. Asuka's been doing good. The tag team division's been good. Sometimes NXT is hit and miss for me. And sometimes I feel that NXT as the brand is shoved down my throat. And there's just no other way to look at it. It's kind of like the Kenny Omega Okada thing, right? It's like, this is the greatest match of all time. This is the greatest match that ever happened. If you don't say it is, you're not a real wrestling fan. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Because when we're talking about wrestling, anything could be the greatest match of all time. Now, I'm not going to begrudge you that if you feel that way, but don't tell me how to feel about what's the greatest match of all time. I liked Okada and Mega. It was an awesome match. Both men deserve credit. However, I thought Naito and Tanahashi was way better than Okada versus Omega. But that's my opinion. And then you're going to have people on social media subtweet you and like, oh, you're not a real wrestling. You're just a WWE guy. You're just a WWE guy. Yeah. I'm the WWE guy that spends most of my week covering non-WWE shows. So, what do I know? I want to make some predictions for NXT. And I'm pretty sure it'll be an interesting show. I like Roderick Strong. I actually had the opportunity to interview Roderick Strong back in my old pro wrestling experience days. Roderick's a very, very cool guy. I like him a lot. He's an awesome man. He's a phenomenal performer. I think him and Cien Almas should be pretty good. I'd probably go with Roderick Strong there. Eric Young versus Ty Dillinger. I think it's cool that Sanity is actually going to make an appearance in this NXT TakeOver thing. I thought it was a mistake they didn't do it last time. Nonetheless, I think him and Ty Dillinger should be fine. Probably Eric Young will win that. 4-way, Asuka, and it's not even close. It's not even close. DIY versus Authors of Pain. Here's the conundrum that I have with this. Maybe it's just me. I feel that Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa would bring even more buzz to 205 Live than just being the NXT Tag Team Champions. I really feel that way. If it was me, and just in my opinion, I would like to see the Authors of Pain become champions on Saturday. I would. I think it'd be better for them to win, and then you can have their rematch at NXT TakeOver Orlando. And I think they're going to call that NXT TakeOver Homecoming, actually, to be honest, because most of the old original TakeOvers were at Orlando. So, anyways, yeah, I think that's what's going to be. I would have the Authors of Pain to win, and then have the rematch at NXT TakeOver Orlando. Then Gargano and Ciampa go to the main roster. The main roster. And then Shinsuke Nakamura to Bobby Roode. Same thing here. However, I do not see the title changing. I do think Shinsuke Nakamura will retain, and then they'll have the rematch at NXT TakeOver Homecoming. So that's the wrap-up card for NXT TakeOver San Antonio this Saturday on the WWE Network. Should be interesting. We'll see if it's good. I think most NXT TakeOvers are good shows, but I think sometimes as fans we overblow that show, man. It's ridiculous. This show is better than WrestleMania 17 and NXT TakeOver Brooklyn is the greatest show ever and all this other nonsense. Stop already, please. All right, we're gonna move on from NXT and talk about TNA really quick. Talk about last week's show. Coming up this week, they have their Genesis special, which you can check out on Pod TV and Fight Network. So I'm going to play a clip here of a segment last week between Maria Kanellis and Braxton Sutter. Sit back, strap it down, and enjoy this piece of audio.
Braxton!
Oh, hey, Maria. Good to see you.
I left you a voicemail. Do you not check your phone like a normal person?
Yeah, I was in the ring training with Allie, and I didn't think it was that big a deal.
Funny you should mention Allie. You know that she works for me. I'm her boss, and she's my assistant. And not even a good assistant.
Do you even know Allie, like, as a person? She's a beautiful human being and doesn't need to be surrounded by people like you.
Oh, that's so adorable. It's real cute. You know, Allie training with you is starting to ruin my life. She's not a wrestler. She's my assistant. So I'm going to need you to stop training her.
I'm not going to stop training her. Maria, I'm a 220-pound grown-ass man. You're not going to boss me around like you do everybody else.
Everybody else doesn't care about Allie. Everybody else doesn't want to ruin Allie's life. So you want to know why you're going to break up and stop training with Allie?
What are you getting at here?
I thought you might see it my way now. So let's try this again. Will you stop training Allie? Do I make myself clear?
Crystal clear.
And one more thing. I'm gonna need you to find Laurel. She's a real sweet girl. And don't keep her waiting.
I don't know. Maybe that may be the worst owl noise. Hopefully I got it right. I'm not sure. What's going on, everybody? Let's get into TNA. This week on Thursday, they got their Genesis special on Pod TV. 3 big matches to talk about this week. We got Eddie Edwards versus Bobby Lashley in a 30-minute Iron Man match for the Impact World Championship. Also, we got a big X Division match between Trevor Lee, DJ Z, Andrew Everett, and Marshe Rockett, a 4-way match for the X Division Championship. And then the one I'm probably looking forward to the most, actually, is not Mary Jane. By the way, great song from Tom Petty. One of the first songs I learned on the guitar, Mary Jane's Last Dance. Nonetheless, we have Rosemary versus Jade in a Monsters Ball match for the Impact Knockouts Championship. You know, in my articles, I didn't say Impact Knockout Championship because I don't want to cause any confusion. I don't think TNA is going to be associated now since they're on Anthem. They don't even say it on their Twitter bio right now. So it's probably good that they're doing it that way and not having the TNA stigma or labeling next to them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I am looking forward to the show on Thursday. Last week was okay. Wasn't really that crazy about the show. They had this new thing called the Race for the Case, but it's kind of like Feast or Fire. But here's the twist. They had numbers in it. So not only do they find out whether to get a championship match or they're getting this or that, but if, let's say you get the briefcase number 1, right? And you want to go for the world championship. Well, no matter what the number is in the other briefcases, those particular competitors that got the briefcase cannot challenge for that same particular championship. So this is all leading to this big open fight night that's going to be happening on Impact really soon. And I'm actually looking forward to it because I actually liked the open fight nights when they were doing that back a few years ago in TNA, and I like that. I really do. I think it's interesting. As far as the matches coming on Thursday, Eddie Edwards and Bobby Lashley should be pretty good. They've been spending a lot of time recently doing like 30 or 40-minute matches to close out the show. And I can just speak for this from my point of view of actually doing the play-by-play pieces. I actually prefer actually covering matches than transcribing dialogue. It actually makes the experience more not fun, but like it's easier for me. Surprisingly, guys, I actually have an easier job actually transcribing the matches than I do dialogue sometimes, because sometimes the performance could miss on a talking point, then it doesn't come out right, and it doesn't make sense of what they were trying to say in the first place. And I, for me personally, I don't want to disrespect the talents, and I know there's a lot that goes into these talking segments. There's a lot that goes into what these characters want to do, and that leads into their matches and all that other stuff. And I want to give the proper respect where credit's due. That's why I do the play-by-play articles the way I do it. I don't do star ratings. I think that's stupid. I really do. This match is 6 stars. Yeah, 6 stars. I'll give that match a C-. Nah, who am I to critique what level of a match is, you know? Anyways, Eddie Edwards, Bobby Lashley, 30-minute Iron match for the TNA World Championship. I'm getting... I'll admit this. As much as I love Bobby Lashley, personally for me, as a guy who covers Impact a lot, I'm getting a little bit tired of him in the world title picture. I am. It's like every month it's Bobby Lashley. Oh, I'm the tough guy. You better not talk. You better not bow out to me or I'll beat your ass. It's getting repetitive. Love that he's doing stuff in Bellator. Awesome. Cool story, bro. However, I am getting tired of Bobby Lashley in the world title picture. It's been going on for 2.5 years already. Give somebody else a shot, man. Eddie Edwards, I don't know. I'm kind of getting an early, how you say it? I'm getting a Rey Mysterio world title vibe from Eddie Edwards. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because Eddie Edwards does come off like a white meat babyface like I haven't seen before, man. I'm looking forward to the match. It probably dominate most of the second hour of this show coming up on Thursday, which I don't mind. More of the shows where I get to cover the shows where it's just dominated and focused on wrestling, the easier it is for me. I can just breeze by through it and just have a good time. I probably think Eddie Edwards will retain, however, so I'm not expecting any title changes. However, it was interesting last week, Moose actually lost his Impact Grand Championship to Drew Galloway. I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming at all, actually. But good for Drew. I'm happy that he's back. I don't know if he's trying to be CM Punk or not with his hood down, and it's a conspiracy theory of him against the world and all that. If that's what he wants to do, then okay. I talked about last week that Ryback is doing his best CM Punk impression, but now it looks like Drew Galloway is joining that conversation too. Hey, man. Right, the greatest what's that saying? Sincere's form of flattery? Yeah, something like that, right? So yeah, Eddie Edwards, Bobby Lashley should be good, but I think Eddie Edwards retains. I expect Rosemary to retain her Knockout Championship. I do. And I also see Trevor Lee becoming the X Division champion, actually. But here's the thing, though. He gets the X Division title shot, right, in his briefcase for the race of the case last week. But he has to fight in a 4-way match? I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Impact this week. Y'all, you heard the clip right there. This for Maria and Allie. Their feud continues to go on and on and on. I'm pretty sure Maria and Allie will actually fight on pay-per-view. Then this feud will finally come to an end. Really not much going on with the Miracle. I thought Mike Bennett would be all over these shows, but man, the guy's just like, he's there for like matches, and it's not. There's really no definitive story with him. Like the last thing he was really in was the Moose stuff. So I wonder what's next for the Miracle, man, because the guy is roaming down the wrong path. And also, I covered last week a match between Robbie E. and Hornswoggle versus Aaron Rex, who's doing a Liberace act, and freaking Rockstar Spud. Bro, man. Horrible. Terrible, hot, steamy bag of garbage. You know what's not garbage, though? The return of the hottest woman in all of professional wrestling, Mickie James, came back to SmackDown this past week, and it was phenomenal, in the words of David Kaplan. Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss got to main event last week SmackDown, the steel cage match for their SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Shenanigans occurred as La Luchadora got interfered in the match and cost Becky the title. La Luchadora was revealed to be Mickie James. And it was really, really interesting what Becky Lynch had to say after the show. So I'm going to play that interview for you right now.
Becky, how disappointed are you, not only in tonight's loss, but the actions of returning Mickie James?
I'm not disappointed, I'm disgusted. I am disgusted that my championship is on this little Harley Quinn wannabe that doesn't have a single ounce of integrity, that has robbed her way and cheated her way into the history books. Tonight we were supposed to make history. We did make history. We were the first women to main event SmackDown Live. The first women to have a steel cage match here on SmackDown Live. That championship is supposed to mean something. When I had it, it meant something. It meant something. And then to have a veteran, Mickie James, comes back and then gets involved and steals me of my championship. Again, what's it going to take? There was a steel cage. There was a steel cage out there to make sure nobody could interfere. I don't know what it's going to take. But I'm willing to do it.
The final SmackDown Live is tonight, coming out of Toledo, Ohio. We got Randy Orton versus Luke Harper tonight, which I can't wait to cover, man. That match is going to be a lot of fun to cover. Randy Orton and Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt are in the Royal Rumble match as well, if I'm not mistaken. I can't tell you guys how excited I am for the Rumble. I can't wait to get into our predictions in a couple minutes. I do want to spend some time talking about SmackDown this week because SmackDown has an interesting show to do tonight because I thought Raw was really good last night, and I want to see how they follow up with that. John Cena, man, this guy can do no wrong. He's been getting the better of AJ Styles every week heading into the Royal Rumble, and it's like, making it super obvious that Cena's going to become the 16th-time champion on Sunday. John Cena, I want to see what happens with him and AJ tonight. Do they have a talking segment? They already had the contract signed, so he can't do that again. Does John Cena have a match? We'll see. I want to see the follow-up between Dolph Ziggler and what happened with him and Jerry Lawler. JBL got into his face, so I don't know if there will be any interaction with him and JBL. I do expect something with Dolph Ziggler and Shane McMahon, so we'll see what happens there. We'll see what's going on with Ms. Dean Ambrose. The whole Renee Young drama continues. As we're going to the Royal Rumble, it kind of gets similar vibes as it were for SmackDown with Survivor Series because they had their mini feuds here on the side that they're building up to for their next show, which is the Elimination Chamber, but they also have to focus on the Royal Rumble. Now, guys like Baron Corbin has been really stepping up recently. I mentioned Dolph Ziggler. Miz is killing it as always. SmackDown Live is on a good track record right now. And I want to see where they go with the show tonight. Do you have another match added to the Royal Rumble kickoff show? Because there's already 2 added from Raw's side. And it's kind of seeing a little Royal Rumble Raw heavy this Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, AJ Styles and John Cena is the only match from SmackDown that's not Raw related. Like, seriously, you got Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens. You got Charlotte and Bayley. You got... You got the Rumble match, which you have a lot of Raw guys in there. You have Sasha and Nia Jax in the pre-show, and you got Gallows and Anderson, the Club versus Sheamus and Cesaro, another Raw tag team match. So I expect to see something where the Usos probably fight American Alpha for the tag titles at the Royal Rumble, or you have this big 10-man tag team match. I just want to see what happens at the Royal Rumble for the SmackDown crew. I'm very interested. I wonder if Daniel Bryan's going to be on the show because he's been missing in action recently. Like, he skips Talking Smack now. He's not in the shows a lot. I don't know what's going on with Daniel Bryan, but I would expect him to be on the show tonight, probably. Right? Yes. And as we're going to WrestleMania season, you gotta wonder if there's even a minute chance of him fighting The Miz at WrestleMania. The only way, and I'll say this, and you guys could go back to this if this happens, the only way I see Daniel Bryan and The Miz at WrestleMania is if they have a talk in the ring, not in the back, not talking smack, but in the ring, in front of the crowd, and Miz does what he does and gets under Bryan's skin and gets in his face about how he's being held back and this and that, and then Bryan drops him with a right hand or something, because that's the only way you can get into it, right? At least for a storyline point of view. I'm not saying get in as invested. Of course, people will be interested in a Daniel Bryan Miz match in WrestleMania. Absolutely. I mean, that's the only way you can get into the actual feud as it is and expect it to be a match. That's what I mean by getting in. So, that's the only way I see it happening. I would love, trust me, I would love to see Daniel Bryan versus The Miz at WrestleMania. I would. However, I still feel in a way that Daniel Bryan, if he were to wrestle again, would probably have been at WrestleMania next year because it's in New Orleans again, and it'd give him more time to reevaluate what's going on with his body. And plus, you got to understand, guys, he is preparing to become a dad. Bray is due in April, if I'm not mistaken. So Daniel is preparing to become a father. And that's important. So I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to either way. It doesn't really matter if there is stuff with Daniel Bryan and Miz night. We'll see what happens. But Randy Orton versus Luke Harper, I'm all in. I also want to see the follow between Nikki Bella and Natalya, because they had an interesting brawl in the concession area yesterday. No, not yesterday, but last week. And also, we got to see if Mickie James talks tonight, right? Got to see the hottest chick ever, right? Mickie James. Cool beans. All right, so that's my thoughts on SmackDown. You could say if John Cena gets the better of AJ Styles again tonight, then you can say maybe AJ wins. But also at the same time, just because if AJ Styles gets the better of John Cena, that doesn't mean automatically that John Cena is going to beat AJ Styles at the Rumble. I know history says that in the past, but WWE is known to done different things in the past, and I really do think that this Royal Rumble this year is going to be unpredictable. I really do. And this road WrestleMania is so up in the air, and in a good way up in the air. So anything can happen. I'm just waiting for it, man. I'm really, really excited for the Royal Rumble this year. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to play the clip of last night's conclusion to Monday Night Raw, which was off the freaking charts. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, and The Undertaker in one ring. I'm going to play that for you right now. I'll give you my thoughts on Raw, and then we'll make predictions for the Royal Rumble. Hope you guys enjoy this awesome-ass segment.
All know that the WWE Universal Championship runs right through the Royal Rumble match. Okay? Now, this Sunday in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome, there'll be 29 other competitors, 29 other fighters, 29 other men that'll be gunning for the same thing that I'm gunning for. And that is to earn an opportunity at either Kevin Owens or Roman Reigns. Now let it be known that I will stop at nothing to obtain that WWE Universal Championship. I will stop at nothing. And if it means I have to spear and jackhammer 29 guys next Sunday, then damn it, that's what I'm going to do.
So all 29 of you guys in the back, you are...
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, depending on the luck of the draw, you might just see a scenario of that man right there, Goldberg, against the Beast, the Conqueror, the Goldberg-eating carnivore, Brock Lesnar!
Oh my goodness, is he here?
We're about to find out.
The Beast! The Beast is here! Lesnar's here!
Brock Lesnar staring a hole through Goldberg. And Paul Heyman trying to keep the Beast at bay. But you gotta believe Lesnar's gotta be seething, steaming.
You will be beaten, victimized, emasculated, embarrassed, eviscerated, humiliated, conquered. Conquered, Mr. Goldberg, and then, and only then, you shall be thrown over the top rope and eliminated. Eliminated not just by anybody on the roster. Oh, no, 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 no. You, sir, shall be eliminated by your subjugator. Boom!
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, everybody knows. Are you going to be a man and come down here, boy? Or are you going to sit here like a dumbass?
Dumbass. Listen, I understand Goldberg's confident after Survivor Series, but this is nuts.
Here comes Lesnar.
You don't call out an angry beast incarnate. I don't care who you are.
Brock was humiliated and embarrassed by Goldberg at Survivor Series.
You can feel the disdain.
Oh, my God! The dead man! What? Undertaker!
To tell me that this segment between Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and The Undertaker was all right, that's when you know wrestling's not for you anymore. That was awesome, man. I was really excited last night when I saw that. I did not see that coming. I knew Brock Lesnar was going to be on the show because the arena, the Quicken Dumps Arena in Chitlin, was advertising Brock Lesnar for the show. And I knew he was going to be there. So Brock Lesnar showing up was not a surprise, but I thought it was good to have him come out there, and I thought that was interesting. Because you really didn't know what was going to happen. People could say, oh, yeah, they're just going to have this big, massive brawl between both guys, and that's how it's going to close out the show. It was probably the better choice for them not to touch going into Sunday, and they did the right thing right there to have the stare-off between all three guys in there and this fade to black. That's storytelling. That's getting you hooked into the Royal Rumble this Sunday because you want to see what happens when those three guys are in the ring. Not on free television, at least. If you're doing this from a business point of view, you want that on your network. So, oh my God, man. It was lit, that segment last night, man. I love Goldberg. You heard the clip right there. He's like, are you going to be there? Are you going to be a man? Are you going to sit there like a dumbass? I thought that was great. And then it's always when, when somebody calls Brock Lesnar a bitch or a dumbass, he has that expression in his face like, You don't want this right now. Man. By the way, for Brock Lesnar wearing that Cleveland Cavalier crap Suplex City t-shirt, you need to go home and stay the fuck home for that. How about that, Brock? Unbelievable. A Cavalier fan. That's great. Anyways, that's the closing end for Monday Night Raw this past week. Last night, depending on when you guys are listening to this, from Chitlin, Ohio. I have bad experiences from Cleveland, so that's why I call it Chitlin. It's not just because I despise LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's more to it. However, it's going to be interesting. Coming up on Sunday will be my 4th year of doing play-by-play articles. I want to break this down to you guys. So, my first play-by-play article I did was the night at the Royal Rumble 2014, which was the one CM Punk left the company, and hightail it out there. He decided to leave, and I got to give a shout out to my good brother, Steve Muhlhausen. Make sure you follow him at Twitter, S Muhlhausen MMA on Twitter. Steve was originally one of the content editors for the Between the Ropes website. So I got to thank him and Brian Fritz for giving me the opportunity to get my start in play-by-play pieces. I did the articles for their site for a year and a half, and decided to move on to WrestleZone. And I've been doing this play-by-play pieces for 4 years. I did it for 14, 15, all of 16 last year, and now going into my 4th year. It's crazy, man. It's been a blessing. It's been a lot of fun. I love doing these articles. I really do. And I don't regret it. Because it's helped me become more in tune and more knowledgeable with the product than just, let me go listen to what Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez had to say on Wrestling Observer Radio, and that's how I get my wrestling knowledge. That's how I get my sources. So, Royal Rumble is special to me, despite the fact my favorite wrestler left the company the night after the Royal Rumble. It's actually kept my spirits in. It kept me being a wrestling fan doing these articles. I love doing it. I'll be doing it tonight for SmackDown Live and 205 Live. It's been a fun ride for 4 years. And also, I want to give a shout out to Mitchell McMill and the Pipe Bomb McCool Company. Please go check out our new T-shirt. The Member Berries Attitude Era shirt, because people need to move on from the Attitude Era. Like, seriously, it's time to move on. So let's talk about Raw. Really quick, I want to say this. I really enjoyed the Gallows and Cesaro match. I hope they have more TV matches in the future. Also, really enjoyed the Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins match last night they had, where both guys slots in the... So basically, Sami had to beat Seth Rollins in order to get into the Royal Rumble, and Seth Rollins needed to win to keep his spot in the Royal Rumble. Triple H's music hit during the match, and the crowd was going nuts. I was like, oh, no way. And then Triple H doesn't show up, and then Sami comes up from behind with the roll-up and wins. That match was awesome, man. Sami and Seth killed it. I hope they do have a rivalry down in the future. I thought they did good stuff with Charlotte and Bayley. You guys know this. I've always been a proponent for those Michael Cole style of backstage interviews before a match. It always helps with character development. It's been great for years, and they should do it on every last show before a pay-per-view, no matter what brand it is. I think they should do that for SmackDown, too, to be honest with you. I would like to see a backstage interview with Dolph Ziggler and see where his mic goes. But here's the thing, though. They have Talking Smack to do that. So I can understand why they do what they do with talking smack, and it works. It works. So I thought Charlotte Bayley looked really good in those backstage interviews with Corey Graves, and I really like what's going on. I'll admit this. I really like what's going on with the Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, people know that I'm a Roman Reigns guy. He's not my favorite wrestler on the roster, but I have a lot of respect for the guy, and he's a hell of a wrestler. And the guy's underrated, man. The guy gets so much flack. It's becoming ridiculous at this point. Like I mentioned this before, I felt a lot of times that Roman Reigns is hatred is more force than the push that he's given. And people could agree or disagree with that. That's fine. It's my opinion. However, I'll say this. I don't think it's really obvious that Roman's going to win the title on Sunday because it already comes off that way with the way they show it on television. Like, every week, Roman Reigns finds a way to make Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho look bad. I mean, yeah, Kevin Owens did when Kevin Owens did powerbomb Roman through the table. It just comes way too obvious. Like, oh yeah, the shark cage and this and that. Now it's no disqualification matches. And Kevin Owens did this. Is like, oh, this is not fair. Everything's going his way. And this, I have a feeling. And I'll make my predictions in a couple minutes, but I don't think it's that obvious that Roman's becoming the champion on Sunday. Now, I want to say this, and I want to make this perfectly clear so people don't get confused. I will not be upset if Roman Reigns becomes the new Universal Champion. I will not. I won't have a problem with it. I'm just saying it's not that clear cut that he's going to become the champion on Sunday. So, that's my thoughts on that. And then, of course, like I started off this segment, Goldberg, Brock, and Taker in the ring at the same time. You can't scoff at that. That was special last night. That was freaking awesome. So, let's get to Royal Rumble predictions as we're going to wrap up the show. Getting close to our hour time limit. I don't like to drag it out for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast as always. Make sure to leave the reviews on iTunes. I'd love to get some feedback and I'll respond back to you guys. Also, make sure to check out the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast episodes on YouTube. Just type it in and you'll find the playlist of all our previous 38 episodes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Royal Rumble predictions. Here we go. Sasha Banks, Nia Jax kickoff show. I'm going to go with Nia Jax to win this one, actually. And then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Sheamus and Cesaro. I'm going to go with... I think Sheamus and Cesaro will probably find a way to win that one, actually. So I'll go with Sheamus and Cesaro. I have the feeling the club are going to become tag team champions at WrestleMania. I do. So I'm going to go with Sheamus and Cesaro on that one. Charlotte and Bayley, I think Charlotte wins and retains. I think she finds a way to cheat or some type of shenanigans, but Charlotte will one-up Bayley in this one. And you gotta understand, that's the character of Bayley. Just because you have an unorthodox finish and Charlotte's outsmarting Bayley, that's the way it goes. That's how her character works. So, I'm going to go with Charlotte with that one. Also, I'm going to go with... I think Miz and Dean Ambrose will fight each other at the Royal Rumble for the IC title. I do. So, I think Dean Ambrose will retain by DQ. You know what? Scrap that. I don't think that match is happening. It wouldn't because they're in the Rumble match. So, no. Let's see. John Cena versus AJ Styles. I got AJ Styles retaining, actually. I think AJ Styles will keep the title and go into the Elimination Chamber with the championship. And also, I think Kevin Owens will retain the Universal Championship over Roman Reigns. Now leads the big $1 million question. Who wins the Royal Rumble match? Who wins it? Who wins it? That's the big $1 million question. I can't wait. at this point, I really don't care who wins the Royal Rumble match. I really don't. Because there's so many good options that I'm not going to really get upset who wins. And now with the fact that this roster split, there's so many different options. Now you know there's going to be at least 2 world title matches that are going to be happening at WrestleMania this year. So I'm not one that's good with coming up with surprise guesses. I tried to do that in the past in my old shows and it didn't work out. So I'm not really the best guy to go to when it comes to like surprise entrances in the Royal Rumble. I just want that to be a surprise and let that be. So I don't want to spoil that. You know what? I'm gonna surprise you guys, and I said this on Wookiee's show. I want to give a shout out to Heel Wookie on Twitter. I am the Wookie on Twitter. He had me as a guest on his show this past Saturday, and he asked who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble. And I'll tell you guys right now, the winner of the 2017 Royal Rumble match will be The Miz. Yep. That's right. My pick for the Royal Rumble is The Miz. Period. Now, there's some other scenarios you can look into this. You say, hey, can we see Triple H in the Royal Rumble? Because, hey, Seth Rollins lost his spot. I can see that actually happening. I can see Triple H going in there and then Seth Rollins coming out and costing him the match. I can see that happening. Do I see any of the guys, the losers from the World Title matches in the Royal Rumble? No, I do not. Kurt Angle will not be in the Royal Rumble. I believe that he will not be in the Royal Rumble. Kenny Omega will not be in the Royal Rumble. Samoa Joe, I'll wait and see on that. I am a Samoa Joe fan. I'll just have to wait and see where he appears on the show. And, I forgot this one added bonus. The reason why I feel that Roman Reigns will not win the Universal Championship on Sunday is because Samoa Joe costs Roman Reigns the championship. Boom. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? So, yeah, I think my pick for the Royal Rumble is going to be The Miz. Do I have a dark horse in the Royal Rumble match? Yes. And that'll be The Undertaker. You know why? Because I can choose that, and he is my guy. And I don't care what Rob from Ramblings and Rob podcast says. I don't care about him saying that The Undertaker needs to go home. He could go home with that opinion. Undertaker's my guy. He'll always be my guy besides CM Punk. And The Undertaker will actually be my dark horse to win the Royal Rumble. And my main pick for the Royal Rumble this year will be The Miz. So I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble this Sunday. It's going to be going down in the Alamo Dome. I'll be covering the show for WrestleZone.com, so you guys can check that out. Speaking of WrestleZone, I'll be covering SmackDown Live and 205 Live tonight for WrestleZone.com, so check that out. Later on this week, I'll be on the Pipe On with McCool Company on the New Age Insiders Network. Make sure to follow Matt on Twitter at McCool NAI. Make sure to follow our Director of Operations, Derek Stoughton, at Derrico06. Make sure to follow the good brother Roddy Starks on Twitter at Starks Wrestling. Shout out to my boy Brandon DeJesus, good brother, fellow Chicagoan. Shout out to my crew on the Sports Drive. You should check out on my YouTube channel. Sean Mann, Andrew Browning, Justin Hill, the Snowman, and the Big Win Frank Sprinkle. Shout out to my family. Shout out to everybody who supports my work at WrestleZone and the Pipe Bomb and this particular show here. And shout out to you. Shout out to you, the listener. Shout out to you, the friend that supports this podcast. I love doing the show for you guys. I can't wait for the Royal Rumble this Sunday. I know you guys can't wait either. I'll be back here next week for a special 40th episode of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. And we're going to have a lot of fun recapping this show next week. And we'll see what happens. Oh, I forgot one thing. Neville will become the Cruiserweight Champion this Sunday at the Royal Rumble. That's right. I'm saying it right now. Neville will become the Cruiserweight Champion at the Royal Rumble. So I want to get that in there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me at Twitter at NotoriousJoshi on Twitter. Make sure, like I said, to check me out on the Pipe Bomb McCool & Company. Make sure to leave a review on this iTunes page for the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to subscribe. Tell a friend about the show. If you like what we're doing here, if you like the production elements, tell a friend about the show, and I love to get some feedback for you guys. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 39 of Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. I'll put this on YouTube, and I'll also put it on my Twitter account. And enjoy the Royal Rumble, everybody. Have fun. Sit back and just enjoy the show as a fan. Don't have that Wrestling 101 playbook next to you. Just sit back and try to enjoy the show. That's all I can ask. That's what I'm going to be doing while I am covering the show, and my typing fingers will probably be bleeding and be sore towards the end of the show. Just sit back and try to enjoy the show. That's what the Royal Rumble is supposed to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And we'll talk about it next week here on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, episode 40. So I'm out, everybody. Talk to you next week. Peace.